everyone, so today we are going to be talking about strong female characters, how they should be made, and how sometimes people might make them. That's a step in the wrong direction. But how do we actually make strong female characters that are going to connect with the audience, are going to be lovable characters that people can actually root for in whatever media you're watching or reading? And a lot of people think that feminism is where to look to when it comes to making these strong female characters. Like, oh, what would the feminists do to make a strong female character? And sometimes feminism gets it wrong. So one of the aspects that gets put into a strong female character is independence. Now, a lot of people interpret independence as meaning that a female character, she can't have a love interest. Like, she has to be all on her own. I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. And that is definitely not true. Now, it is true that it's good to have a strong female character who's independent, but how do we really define independence? Because independence is not necessarily being all alone, or being unloved for that matter. I think independence has a lot more to do with being your own person, having your own personality, having your own way of life. And one good example of independence I can give you is Disney's Pocahontas. Now, you can say what you want about that movie, but the fact of the matter is, Pocahontas is an independent character. One of the things they do that's really interesting with that movie is they make Pocahontas a very independent character from her native tribe. She is this very spiritual, fun-loving girl, while the rest of her tribe seems to be a lot more serious, and most people would assume that Pocahontas is supposed to be representing her tribe, you know, like, oh, this is what the natives were. They were these peaceful, loving people who just wanted to hang out with the trees. Nah. In fact, she is the only one who actually speaks with the trees and the animals. Nobody else does. She stands out as an individual in her own tribe. She stands out as her own person who has her own way of life, while everyone else is kind of just following tradition. Sure, she's supposed to be in this arranged marriage, but she wants to choose her own path. And that's what makes her an individual. That's what makes her an independent woman. And I'll give you another example. Lilo and Stitch. Now, Lilo is a Hawaiian native, and she has a bully who is a white rich girl. Or at least I'm assuming that she's rich, I don't know. But Lilo is not bullied by this white girl because she's Hawaiian. In fact, this white girl has all kinds of Hawaiian friends who follow her around and get along fine. The reason why Lilo is bullied is because she's an individual. Because she has her own personality that they just don't understand. Because she's weird and quirky, that's why they bully her. They think that she's weird. And that's kind of the point of Lilo and Stitch. One weirdo finds another weirdo.
Hutch controls the weather. You're crazy.
And sometimes being independent, being an individual, is very hard to do. Sometimes what's most difficult is just being yourself in a world that might not want you to be yourself. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is strength. Now, you hear the word strong female character and you think, well, they've got to have some supernatural strength, or they have to be just as strong as a man. Nope. It's a big misconception that a strong female character needs to be as strong, if not stronger, than a man. Can you do it? Yes. Is it necessary? No. Now, part of something you have to go through as a female is the realization and reality that you will never be as strong as a man. If you work out all your life versus a man who works out all his life, he is still going to be stronger than you. But physical strength is not the only strength you can have. There are other strengths that females can have that men cannot. You know, like childbirth. And the trick of a strong female character is that you can replace strength with something individual that she has that most men do not. A talent that she has personally. Now, a good example of this would be maybe Disney's Mulan. Everyone's trying to get up this pole with these big heavy weights on, and they can't do it. Nobody is strong enough. Not even the men. But Mulan is able to figure out that by wrapping around the weights, she can use it as a counterweight to pull herself up the pole. Now, part of what makes Mulan such a strong female character is the fact that she knows strategy, she is smart, and that's what makes her such a valuable asset to the war. Sure, you could have written the story of Mulan as her just being this overpowered martial artist who can just level cities with one punch, but would that be as interesting? Or would that just make her an overpowered character? And then that's how we get into the whole of Mary Sue's. Mary Sue's are poorly made characters. Female characters who are just good at everything. They can do anything, everyone loves them, they can be snarky, and they can just get away with it because everyone loves the Mary Sue character, she can do anything. A lot of people, when they create Mary Sue characters, they create kind of an ideal version of themselves. What would I want to be like in this world if I could be anything? And one of the things that people want to be is they want to be the most powerful, smartest person on earth, and they want to be loved by everybody. Now, unfortunately, that's just not how it works. That's not how writing works. That's not how I'm gonna connect with a character. I can't connect with a character who's just perfect and loved by everybody. I want to see someone work and achieve what they have. I want to feel as though their achievements have been earned through hard work, and I want them to feel human by having real-life human limitations. Now, I'm not really referring to superheroes in that sense. Obviously, the whole point of superheroes is they can go beyond the limitations of us humans, but the idea is they still have limitations, and you can relate to those limitations because we have limitations. Maybe I can learn everything there is to know about a computer, but then when I go to draw something, it looks like crap. You know what I mean? You give and you take. If you're going to give someone this amazing skill, you also have to take a skill away. That's how you keep it balanced, that's how you keep them limited, and you keep them an interesting character. And I think one of the key words here is female. There is a femininity aspect that needs to be put in a strong female character. If you remove feminine aspects from that character, then what makes her female? Why should she be female? And I see this a lot of the time. People think that a strong female character has to be just like a man, only with a female face. And that's not true. For example, in fairy tales, people think, oh, well, if it's going to be a story about a woman saving a guy, she should be in the knight armor fighting the dragon. It should be like that. Now, granted, that sounds pretty cool, but there are, in fact, fairy tales about women saving men, and they don't have women in the knight armor fighting a dragon, but they still make for strong female characters. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, how is that? Now, one of my favorite examples that I always love to bring up whenever I have the chance is the original Snow Queen story by Hans Christian Andersen. I love this fairy tale. I want to make my own animated adaptation of it one day, if I ever get the chance. The idea behind Hans Christian Andersen's original Snow Queen fairy tale is that Kai is kidnapped by the Snow Queen and put under a spell, and Gerda, the female protagonist, has to go on an adventure to save him and break the spell. It's a very simplified version of it. It's a lot more complicated than that. But in the end, how she saves Kai, it's not from fighting anything. It's not from having this epic battle with the Snow Queen or anything of that sort, but rather it's her love that saves Kai in the end. It's her warmth that melts his frozen heart. She goes up to him and she cries on his chest, and it's the warmth of her tears. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there's just something very romantic about that thought. The thought that me being just as I am, loving just as I am, can save someone. And another Hans Christian Andersen example would also be The Little Mermaid, the original Little Mermaid. Now, of course, at the beginning of the story, she saves the prince from drowning. That's already, there you go. She's already a strong female character who can, in fact, save the male character. But the ending is what truly makes the mermaid a hero. Now, first of all, that story, it's mostly about self-sacrifice. and what you would do for love, even if it was unrequited. And the story, everyone who knows that story, they would kind of say it was a sad ending. It was kind of in the middle, I would say. Kind of sad but happy. Maybe I'll make a whole entire video comparing the Little Mermaid original fairy tale with the Disney's fairy tale. I like them both, honestly. I like the adaptation and the original. I think they're both very great stories. The idea of how the original fairy tale ends is that the mermaid makes the choice to let herself die so that the prince can be happy. She decides, you know, I can't force the prince to love me and take me as his wife, and I can't take out anger on him for not choosing me as his wife. I love him despite all of this, and I just want him to be happy. And what is more heroic than giving your own life for someone else's happiness? But those are just a few thoughts that I have, a few examples of things that I really love seeing in strong female characters. So feel free to tell me what you think about the subject, a few strong female characters that you have enjoyed in movies or books. Be sure to comment down below your opinions on the matter. And of course, remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Program restart. Shutting down all systems.